Hey guys, just felt like talking some more. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to explain my previous video. I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible, which is very hard, of course. Many months ago at work, I sent an email about a certain issue, and this work colleague of mine said, Mahmood, you're angry all the time. You know who you are if you see this video. She detected that from an email, and of course she's right. I am angry all the time, and that's because I let too many people around me say and do things that doesn't actually fit in with my principles. And I feel powerless sometimes. But you have to be with other people. You can't force people to be different from the way they are. You can only try and convince them. You say your part, and you've got to do certain things with other people, especially when it comes to handling an organization. So you have this group of people in the club who gets to play the best games, and they share it with their friends and their relatives, and those, if you pardon my expression, who would suck their balls. The management is also controlled, hand-picked by a certain group of people as to who can actually be nominated, etc. As I say, I can say a lot about a lot of things, but I want to try and keep this short. We get the place where we play badminton on the premise that we provide opportunities to young kids, so we have to have young kids coming to the session. So what do? They pretend that they have kids there. So for years and years I've been saying to people, the appropriate people that can actually make a difference, to say, look, why don't we actually have kids in here? And in the process we would end up producing some real good badminton players as well. And of course, those people who think they're such great players, they should spend some time, if they're getting the best games, they should spend some time trying to produce some badminton players among the young kids. They don't want to spend the time, they don't want to do it, and the management said, well, if they don't want to do it, you can't force people. And I wasn't getting so many of the best games, so I thought, well, I better spend some time. If I'm going to talk, if I'm going to try and say that people should spend the time, then I should spend the time myself as well. So I did. The club, of course, wasn't going to give us a court with the kids. They've already said they're pretending they've got kids. They're not going to provide that. So anyway, I go outside, I go other places. For the last 5 to 8 years, I have been spending so much of my time on a voluntary basis to find the best kids out there to bring to the clubs, and became a coach myself, and I've been coaching for the last 5-6 years myself. And we've got some really good kids who are becoming really good badminton players. And of course I try and tell them how to actually do things as a group and not to pretend about things. If you're going to be a badminton player, you shouldn't be pretending. If you're a sportsman, there is no pretense involved. You train hard, you work hard, and you become a proper badminton player. So anyway, I bring some of these kids, and yes, I actually forced my way to some extent to bring some of the kids here, especially the younger ones, who are not so young, because it's an adult club. Obviously you don't want to try and bring in too many of the young kids who I coach elsewhere. So I bring some of the older boys who are playing a lot better to the club, and a couple of months ago I bring about 4 of them, and they're playing on one court. That's only the second time I did it this year, and these guys were not happy that these boys were actually playing on the court. So they held a meeting. A week or so later I got invited, and yes, I'm part of the executive committee. They didn't tell me who else would be turning up. I just assumed it was a committee meeting. Some of these young boys were there, other people were there, and they say a lot. So much was said to try and undermine me. And they said, it's not just our club that pretend their way. It's not just our club that say to the council, look, we have kids, and so they get the place. Unacceptable, I told them. I was not happy that they exploited these kids. We had another meeting, a follow-up meeting, where I explained to them, look, you cannot go on this way. And I am not happy that you've done that. You've exploited the kids, you've got to change your ways. I pleaded, I reasoned, I said, look, you've got to let me carry on, because there are so many other people who are thankful I'm doing this. The kids are thankful I'm doing this. I know that I'm actually making a difference. They wouldn't have it. They tell me, you can't do anything else in this club. I can say a lot more, guys, but I'll leave it here for now because I'm not done yet.